Thursday, April the 3rd, 2025, and after a wonderful journey getting here, i.e. delayed by 30 minutes, which means I'm having to do this walk in reverse, which is a Saunderton to Little Kimble walk. Was aiming to start at Little Kimble, obviously. Saturday Walkers Club walk, a free walk, number 10, last undertaken in July 09 and recorded on my mobile. So this is a rewalk but in reverse, and I don't know how I've managed not to rewalk this in 16 years. One of my earliest walks that was recorded. So cracking day once again, about 16 at the minute, but with a wind chill breeze from the east southeast, so we got a real feel of about 14, but nonetheless cracking walking weather, albeit that I might have to contend with some 30-mile-an-hour gusts. We're in the Chilterns hills, so there will be some gusts, I'm sure. Test out the old wind blocker. Yeah, it's a shame I'm having to do it in reverse though, to be honest. About 10.5 miles today, so let's get cracking. It's 11:45 now, or thereabouts. See what awaits. It's been a while since I've been here. Have done other walks from Saunderton, but I don't recall this housing estate opposite the station. And another one as I walk up Small Dean Lane. All these little pockets of development, as I've said before, eating into our precious countryside. And just as I leave the village, yet another one. Continuing up Small Dean Lane here. As you can see, there's a little idea of what we're going to encounter today. Starting at around, what was it, 341, going up to around 750. So we're starting at a pretty high level and getting a few hills in as well, as you'd imagine in this area. Now the GPX track shows which I'm using today, shows a path here, or some kind of track, which has been fenced off by the looks of it. However, that's the way I've got to go because I'm using a GPS track today, no alternative. A gate beside it that's well padlocked up as well, and you can see the clear path beyond the gate, because he hasn't ploughed it. That's Park Wood per the map. Walking past the foot of it here. There is a path alongside it, but you don't take that one. Walk past the foot of it and continue on. Information panel here about what's living in the hedge and what is a field margin. Our onward journey's that way. So having come past Parkwood, we go alongside the other side. And take that gate into the wood where someone's illegally felling trees, by the sounds of it. Doesn't matter whether the land's private or public. The Wildlife and Countryside Act, 86 I think, covers that. No felling of trees after the end of February to protect the birds' nests, etc. So I don't know how these people are getting away with it. Lack of enforcement, that's the problem. Over Kimble. Another cracking day ahead. Wonderful. particularly now that saw's stopped. Lane on the right, do not continue straight ahead, but take the slight deviation to the left through a kissing gate onto National Trust land. Walking through a very pleasant valley section here at the foot of Bradenham Beeches, which is that plantation ahead of me. One bird I'm seeing a lot of obviously in this area today is the kite, and initially I also heard a lot of goldfinches. Other than that, generally there's a lot of bird song. Decent vista back towards Little Kimble. Sorry, not Little Kimble, Saunderton. I'm doing the walk in reverse, aren't I? You can see the rooftops of the new houses here. Now walking through Bradenham Beechwoods, where there's a RAF police dog centre over there. And unlike last week, a noisy jet in the background. Walking through a section called the Coppice per the map, a mixture of beech, birch, and on my right some conifers. Not sure what they are, a lot of them are sort of dead and difficult to identify. So just leaving the National Trust's Bradenham, and we're now about to cross a busy B road behind me to then enter the slightly different Bradenham estate. So Bradenham Beeches then becomes Bradenham Estate. Rather stark in this woodland at the moment. Buds have only just come out, no tree cover, no leaves as such yet. Just circumventing a property called the Piggery, and as you can hear in the background, the old chiff chaff is busy at work. Then we come to this private land owned by the parish council by the looks of it. Allotments. Another week, another allotment. Thankfully we've seen quite a few in recent walks. Always good to see. Rather than development. Just about to walk down Clappins Lane, and on the one side, on my left, you've got Walter's Ash, interestingly named, and on the other, my right, Knapp Hill. Our onward journey, as I say, down Clappins Lane, and yet another new development. Smith's Road. Coming off the lane to the first stile of the day, and within the next hour I'm going to have to decide where to have my lunch. No church on this walk today, unfortunately. Now entering Corns Wood on the map. Lots of holly along this path in Corns Wood. Thankfully today there's hasn't been any rain now for at least 10 days, which is just as well because I still haven't got my new boots. They're in the post, mind you. Should be with me tomorrow. Total distance. Which gives me an opportunity to break them in. Not that they need breaking in, these Keens, over the weekend, and hopefully out next week with them on. And I don't care if it's wet underfoot then or not, but today, different ball game. Thankfully it's dry. So if the theory is right about holly having a rest year this winter, 2025-6, there should be a plethora of red berries around. Okay, you eventually come to the second stile of the day, but getting here is quite tricky. There are a number of trees blocking the path about 50 yards beyond this stile. There is an alternative diversion down the side here, but that's equally got a blockage at the minute as well. So like I say, take note. Decent vista from a point near the horse's trust. So at around 4 miles in, 1:45, I'm going to set up camp here for lunch. Decent view down the valley. This is called Flowers Bottom per the map. I tend to take my lunch within a certain time now rather than waiting for a particular destination like halfway, which is what I used to do, but far better energy wise to take my food at the sort of normal lunchtime really. So lunch has been had, just gone 2 o'clock. Disturbed by this tractor. Not sure what he's putting on the grass, but dust was my issue with it. So I quickly finished my lunch and I've cleared off. Don't know what that sort of chemical is in the back of it. So this is Flowers Bottom per the map. Nice little valley. Spoilt by some jet noise in the background, mind. Well, that's not very good, is it? Bucks Ramblers have got a ripple service as well, a repair for leisure, something like that. But I obviously aren't aware of this one. Shocking. Looking back down the valley whence I've come, from about 600 foot up here now. This area I'm currently stood on is known as Turnip End, for some strange reason. Interesting name, reflecting former cropping, I suppose, I don't know. Yeah, that would be good if the tables were turned, eh? No sheep in the field at the minute, only those 2 horses. So the path turns left now and we're following Highwood Bottom, is this quiet lane. Must admit it's a very pleasant part of the county this. Most of Buckinghamshire and the Chilterns I tend to complain about because it's too sanitised, but this certainly isn't. Passing a gate donated by Dennis Claydon, or in memory of Dennis Claydon. Don't take that path, but continue straight on. And this little section seems familiar to me. Probably should be, I've walked it before, albeit many years back in the other direction. Approaching Monkton Wood on the map. Another beech wood which is only just coming into bud. So there's an option to go straight on, right, but we take the left branch here. The path splits shortly after, but I think the higher route is for when it's too wet on this lower one, which certainly isn't the case today. So I'll continue on the main path here. As you can see here, although they've dried out massively, there is clear evidence that this lower path would be a bit of a pain in the winter wet months. Interesting. And that was written in the middle of COVID. Okay, straight on would take you to the pub in Parslow's Hillock, but as I've already had my lunch, and I don't know if that's the pub lunch stop anyway, I don't think it is actually, there's an option here to turn right, which cuts out that little diversion to the pub, and I won't have walked this previously, so let's give this a go and see what happens. There you've got the path coming from Parslow's Hillock, four fingers there on that signpost, and that brings you to the point I'm stood at presently. So the shortcut I'm then going to take is this pylon run through these pines. We're now following the Chiltern Way, as you can see. Continues down that road opposite. Monkjack skulking through the trees over there. And I was watching a programme last night where the commentator said that initially deer will not immediately jump over a fence. They prefer to go under where possible. So that's interesting. They can easily clear it, and they will do, but only if push comes to shove. If they can go under, they will, apparently. We're approaching Redland End on the map now, where the this little shortcut rejoins the main GPX track. Walking on top of Grimm's Ditch here for a little bit. And I wonder if this is the same Grimm's Ditch that exists up in Thetford Forest. Because there's one up there, I know. How great it's singing strongly in the background. Wonderful. Very impressed with this walk thus far. Mainly wooded, so I've avoided a lot of the wind, and of course there's been plenty of bird song around. Wonderful. Tree clearance here with new recruits in the background to replace them. Lovely to see. And as I've come out of the woodland, you can hear the breeze picking up again. Past this redundant stile, continuing on through woodland. Wonderful, cracking afternoon. I love it when everything's just coming out into bud. Another couple of weeks will be the highlight of the year for me. Being a spring baby as well, that's obviously why I'm connected to it. Interesting metallic signs. Not sure what metal they are, but they certainly don't rust. Part of the Hamden estate, look. I wonder how many people obey that request to keep their dogs on a lead. Certainly should do. So many dogs around now. Unruly as well. This is Knighton's Hillwood per the map, and we're currently descending. Looks like the old daffs are turning over now as well. That's it for another spring. Now entering Sergeant's Wood in the map. Which has a much better footpath in it because there's no horses or cycles allowed. Lots of branches blocking paths on this route today. Now entering Nin Wood per the map, and this is good to see where they previously accessed the wood. They've planted new saplings. Amazing. Plenty of robins around today, as you can hear. This section of path is so little used that the beech leaves are inches deep. You can slip on them. Wonderful. Great section of the walk this. Very peaceful. Anyone want to buy a woodland? Don't know about the tax efficiency these days even. The way our Labour Party have been going on. Passing the plough at Cadston. Good tea time stop possibly. A bit early on in the walk for lunch, if you're doing it the proper way round. Which I'm not, obviously. Week another golf course, this one being Whiteleaf. Further good use of UV panels. It's a far better way of using them than having them out in the fields, depriving us of food. Got a nice staircase here to climb after the golf course. Now entering Grangelands and Pulpit Hill Nature Reserve. If you want to do a search online for that, learn more about it. Finger post on my right over there, highlighting the Ridgeway, which we don't join because we follow the bridleway to my left. Voila. Certainly seem to have a sense of humour in Buckinghamshire, or this part of it anyway. Okay, at this gate, the gate to the Grange, there is in fact a public footpath gate hidden in the hedge. No surprise, eh? Horse paddock territory at the moment. Not far from Little Kimble now, 10 mile in. Walking past a large pond stroke small lake. Passing Great Kimble C of E school. Our onward journeys alongside it. Utilising the Aylesbury Ring. Naycaster clout till the May is out. It's just starting to appear. Although I think this is Blackthorn. Okay, 4 hours 18, 10.73 miles. Back at Little Kimble, but unfortunately I just missed a train. Wasn't planning to get that one anyway, but Got a 50-minute wait now. C'est la vie. But that was a very good Chilterns walk, in my opinion. I don't like that many up here because, as I say, they tend to be bland and a bit sterile. But this one certainly wasn't. Seems to be a remoter, wilder part of the county, so it's certainly very decent. The weather was beautiful, nice chill to the air, and around about 19 degrees in the end, so perfect. As you can see, a single line track here, so trains go to Aylesbury, then shunt back down to Princes Risborough and into Marylebone. Let's hope my return journey is a bit better than the one getting here. Chiltern Railway's rolling stock really is poor quality. No charging points of any description, certainly on the units I was on, which were probably in use when I did this walk 16 years back. But that aside, very good walk. So that's, and of course, dry underfoot, so no wet feet, and hopefully next time I'll have new boots. Fingers crossed. So that's free walk number 10, re-walked in the opposite direction 16 years later, and I didn't remember a thing. Very good walk. Till the next time.